Good morning, or afternoon, or whenever you're watching this. This is Mr. Harold with one of the first videos that we're going to be making for this unit, and this is the college application essay video. Now, in this unit, you do have the chance to look through the PowerPoint on your own. You have the chance to read the instructions, but I thought it might be helpful if I walked us through some tips and tricks on how to put together a good college application essay. An application essay is different than some of the other types of essays that you have written. It's certainly not a literary analysis essay. It's not a compare and contrast. It's about you. And some people, when it comes to talking about themselves, are extremely uncomfortable. So let's go ahead and take a look at the notes on the side here, the college application essay. A couple of problems that I see every year are some spelling errors. Let me show you some of the good ones. This is what the student tried to say. This, however, is what they said. This, but then they got this. Someone said they were inducted, but they typed abducted, though based on the candles and the marching and the chanting, maybe never mind. And then finally, okay, so you're going to write a college application essay. Each college is different. Some ask you to just sort of write a story about yourself. Others have very specific prompts. I'm going to give you a prompt or some possible topics that I think are going to be helpful. However, if you have one that you know for a specific school, I encourage you to use that instead. Please just share it with me. So what do you need? Well, just like anything, you need an intro and conclusion. It may not be quite as formal as some of the other ones, but it does need to be there. You want to have a focus, a thesis statement. What story are you going to tell in your college application essay? No, it's not going to have 3 main points. No, it's not going to have quotes and analysis, but you need to tell us what you're going to talk about. Are you going to say, hello, I'm going to tell you about my life? Are you going to tell us about a key moment? Are you going to tell us why you want to go to Pitt or Duquesne? Whatever it may be, you need a focus statement. 2 body paragraphs at least. You may want to go for 3, perhaps 4, but again, college essays are pretty concise, so you don't want to go too much over that, but 2 is a good place to start. 2 pages is a good length, 3 pages is about too long, so keep it pretty short. If you can get it down to 2 pages exactly, that's probably perfect. And as I said before, first-person language is not only okay, it is required. You need to form a personal connection with these people, so make sure that you are using first-person language. So, what are the possible prompts? Well, you can read these in the handout that I provided, but let me just walk you through them. Number 1, a life-changing experience for you. Now, this could be something good or something bad. You've probably heard that sometimes colleges like sob stories. If you are from another country, if you have endured a physical injury in your life, if you had a major traumatic event, please include that. You know, some people will say it's a little unethical, but it gets the job done. It can also be positive. If you think of an incident in 4th or 5th grade and it really inspired you that you wanted to join the medical field, by all means, go for it. You could choose a particular quote and explain why it has meaning for you and explain. If you go this route, try to pick something that other people haven't done before. For example, don't pick "what doesn't kill you makes you stronger." That's a pretty common quote. A lot of people have used it. Try to come up with something that's unique to you, that maybe your parents have said, maybe you got from a sibling, maybe it was your team's motto before they went out on the field, maybe it's from a TV show that not many people have seen. But tell us about the quote, but more importantly, what does it say about you? Don't talk about the quote the whole time. Tell us something about yourself that helps us gain an insight into who you are. What do you do in your spare time? Why are you a decent person? Why should you go to this school? Again, don't just talk about yourself vaguely. Focus on a few things. The last option is to pick a prompt from your school. If you know you're going to go to Pitt or Duquesne or somewhere far away, you can use one of those, and that can work for this assignment as well. Please just let me know what that prompt is so I'm not trying to assess you on one of these other ones. Alright, a couple notes on intros, conclusions, and then just some overall things based on what I've seen in the past. You want to avoid cliches, things like, hello, my name is. Obviously, they see your name at the top. You don't need to say that. You don't want to ask permission. Please permit me to discuss. They're reading a lot of these. It's understood that you're allowed to talk to them, so I try to avoid asking for permission. It puts you in a weakened state just right off the bat. And stay away from turn paper intros. Don't just reword the question. Start with something interesting. You know who's going to be reading these? A bunch of 21-year-olds that are working in the admissions department for $7.25 an hour. So what their job is to take the really bad ones and throw them out. Take the mediocre ones and leave them there. And if some of them jump out, they pass them along. So you want to make sure that A, you're jumping out, and at very least you're not in the weak pile. Some other things that you want to do. You could use mysterious statement, obscure quotations, a thoughtful question, something sort of trivial. Maybe you make a remark about buying fruit at the grocery store. You can include what a lot of people say. A lot of people say that getting into college is like chopping down a tree. Now, I've never heard anyone say that, but maybe you have, and maybe that's how you want to start this off. You could start with a confession. Don't confess anything too bad. You can still be arrested if you admit to murder in one of these, but you know, something that maybe a lot of people don't know, or maybe you want to share with the school. Or you could start with something overly obvious. What does that mean? Well, you could say that everyone wants to succeed in life. Well, that's probably true. You don't need to say that out loud. However, what does it mean to you? Everyone wants to succeed in life, but what is success? A few things when you're ending it. A couple things to remember here. Number one, this is not a conclusion. You are not writing a paper and reaching a final finale, a triumph. You're really just sort of stopping. You're saying, this is what I told you about, and now I'm not going to tell you anymore. So you don't want to reach a conclusion, you just want to end. You want to bring it to a resolution, maybe end the same story you began with. You want to use final sentences, you want to end the suspense. If you confess something, or if you asked a question, or if you posed a riddle, be sure that you wrap up everything by the end. And you do want to use some short, forceful sentences. This commands power and strength, and it makes them take you seriously. So you want to have these short sentences by the end. A couple things to remember at the end not to do. Don't ask them to admit you. That's understood in that you're sending in the application. Don't use obvious words like finally and in conclusion. Again, are those illegal? No, but you can use much better terms. And don't try to repeat or sum up. You already talked about a bunch of things. This is not a literary analysis paper where you need to repeat your main points. If you're telling a story about yourself, bring the story to the end and move it on. Some final thoughts based on the papers that I read last year. Number one, you have to have hope. I read a lot of papers last year in which people talked about a difficult experience in their life, and they told me how they were the captain of the gymnastics team, and then they got a concussion, and it really harmed them. The end. No, no, no. If you're going to talk about a difficult moment, you need to have hope at the end. How are you recovering from that? How has it changed you for the better? Don't just tell us about something deep and depressing and how you are never going to be a great human being again. Colleges don't want those people. You have to stand out. You may use something sort of common. You may use the football team. You may use that you did the musical. Okay, but what about that is unique to you? What about that makes you a unique person? Try to spin it in your own way. Be concise. Again, you don't want to go on and on and on about yourself. You want to make a couple key points and get out of there. And you must, finally, do no harm. College application essays, some people say that they are a waste of time because everybody has to write one, and, well, everybody that gets into college wrote a college essay. Now, that's true. Sometimes college essays are just about doing no harm. That means avoiding spelling mistakes. That means avoiding contractions. It means avoiding stupid things that can really bring you down unnecessarily. So that's what you should be looking for in your college essay. Before I leave you, I'm going to show you just a clip of what a good college essay or perhaps a good resume would be, brought to you by Mr. Barney Stinson. So Barney, you can take it away.
Barney Stinson, you've achieved great success in business, athletics, and personal relationships, and have been an inspiration to... What would you recommend to your numerous admirers who want to reach their highest potential? The first thing you need to know about success is that it doesn't just come to you. Most people associate success with money and power, but really, it's a state of mind. Success, the only limit? All my life, I have dared to go past what is possible. To the impossible? Actually, past that. To the place where the possible and the impossible meet to become the possimpable. If I can leave you with one thought, it's this. Nothing and everything is possimpable.
Thanks again for joining us. Have a great night.